Michael Burry just said that NASDAQ may be rigging the game to court SpaceX's IPO. When the guy who shorted the housing bubble says something about market structure looks manipulated, it is kind of a cardinal sin not to listen. Let me try to take a second and break this down. This could be the largest IPO in history. SpaceX is reportedly targeting a valuation of $1.75 trillion, which is a number that would put Dr. Evil into a coma, instantly make it one of the 6 biggest companies in America, behind only Nvidia, Apple, Google, Microsoft, and Amazon. That makes it exactly the kind of listing every exchange wants to win. The biggest bounty. The theory is simple. NASDAQ is actively courting SpaceX's IPO, and here's what they're doing to try to make the sell. If you were ever desperate for someone's attention, NASDAQ is putting you to shame. So here's a quick explanation. The NASDAQ 100 is basically a list of the biggest non-financial companies on the exchange, the likes of Apple, Microsoft, Nvidia. You got it. And trillions of dollars in index funds automatically buy whatever gets added to that list. So when a company joins the index, it's kind of a big deal because huge pools of passive money are forced to just buy the stock. Great deal for the companies in there. Normally, companies have to wait months, sometimes a year, before they're eligible to join a major index like this one. Why does that delay exist? It gives the market time to figure out what the company is actually worth before trillions of dollars in index funds start piling in. In February, NASDAQ proposed something called a, quote, fast entry rule. Under that proposal, massive IPOs could join NASDAQ 100 after just 15 days. Coincidentally, I know a massive IPO that is on the horizon. Also coincidentally, Tesla apparently made fast entry into the NASDAQ 100 precondition of listing with NASDAQ. Pure coincidental timing. Now, here's where the math gets a little weird. So when a company goes public, only a small percentage of their shares are actually available for investors to buy. The rest stay locked up with founders and early investors. If SpaceX IPOs at $1.75 trillion and sells 5% of its shares, that means only $87 billion of stock would actually exist in the public market. That is the supply. Now, normally, index funds weight companies based on the shares that are actually available to trade. But under NASDAQ's new proposal, companies with very small public share counts could be weighted at up to 5 times that amount inside the index. So the translation is a company with $87 billion of shares available, like Tesla, could effectively be treated like a $400+ billion stock inside the index. That's all you really need to know about this. It is a very favorable change for the potential Tesla IPO. Over $1.4 trillion tracks the NASDAQ 100. That's ETFs, mutual funds, retirement accounts. All of that money automatically just buys whatever enters the index. So 15 days after a Tesla IPO, hedge funds could be forced to pour tens of billions of dollars into a stock. Relatively few shares are actually available for investors to buy. That gives Elon a whole lot of new money for his rockets, because when massive demand meets limited supply, I learned this one, price tends to go up. This benefits exactly one group, which is Elon Musk and friends, the insiders who still own the other 95% of the company. When their lockups expire months later, they can sell into that demand. So who ends up buying those shares? Mostly index funds and retirement accounts, like the same ones holding your retirement savings. Michael Burry shared all this, echoed George Noble's language that it's the most shameless structural manipulation of a major index he's ever seen. Shame on you, NASDAQ. Not exactly a compliment. Index funds were designed to track the market, but when trillions of dollars automatically buy whatever an index includes, changing the rules of that index can suddenly move billions of dollars at a time. Those rules are being proposed just as NASDAQ is trying to land the biggest IPO in history. That is $1 trillion courtship from NASDAQ.